Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. I'm your host, Katy Rey, and I am interviewing ordinary people living extraordinary lives. But I have Michelle J. Lamont here today. Ain't no ordinary bee, you know what I'm saying? One of my friends, manifestation and abundance coach. She has an amazing podcast called Manifesting Miracles. She'll tell us all about the hits for that and subscribers. She is a speaker, a badass PR expert, business owner, all the things. She was an entrepreneur at like 8. You know what I'm saying? She knew it was up. But she's a very good friend of mine. I'm so excited to have you. Welcome.
Oh, I feel so loved in the studio.
I know. It's like dimmed lights. It's like candlelight. Yeah. It's exactly what we needed.
Absolutely.
So you're on the show.
I am.
Thanks for joining.
I am so excited to be here, Katy, because I know the people who are tuning into you they get your authentic freaking vibration. Is this a PG kids listen?
No, hell no, girl. I'm explicit all day. My kids don't even get a PG version of me. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Well, sometimes I'm doing TV interviews or regular interviews and I just forget. Yeah. And I'm like, Fear is a motherfucking liar.
This is like,
and they're like,
okay.
Cut.
MF, ma'am. Yeah. Please don't say the word.
Please MF that statement.
Say it, because Fear is a motherfucking liar.
It is. Yeah. Absolutely.
So let's talk about you. Tell us about how you became who you are, Michelle J. Lamont.
Wow.
What a question. Shit.
Like, how long is this podcast?
We're about 30 minutes. Do we have enough time to go into what makes you?
So I'm a first-generation American. My mom was from Colombia. My brother was born in Colombia. I'm the very first person in my family to be born in this country, and then the rest of my family was born here. At the age of 10, my mom learned English on Sesame Street. She built multiple businesses. And on her 39th birthday, she had been sick for a minute. We didn't really know what was going on. And we went to MD Anderson in Houston, Texas, to see how mom was doing, and she never came home. So she died in July of my 10th birthday. And within about 90 days, my father would drive me 3 hours away and give me away in an orphanage. So I grew up in an orphanage. So I was homeless before my 11th birthday, and I would continue to be homeless until I was like 21. So I went to the orphanage in Waco, Texas. In fact, right now there's a show on Netflix, David Koresh, Waco. And in 3 of the 4 episodes, they show the orphanage that I grew up in. Oh, God. And they talk about how cruel these women were. And I was like, you don't even know half of it. So I would be physically, emotionally, and sexually abused there. Then I would write letters to all these colleges and get a scholarship to a couple. Ended up going to Arizona State, where I would meet my next abuser, my husband, and we would spend 19 years and 3 months in an abusive relationship that he worked for me, and he was older than me the entire time. I forgive all of this, so just know that there's no resentment in these statements. I had 5 miscarriages, C-section scar, no baby. But I'm so thankful for that, because if I had, I would have stayed. If I had a child, I would have been with my abuser until the child was 18. And then I really would have missed out on inspiring and driving and leading so many people from their limited belief system to their higher belief system. And at this point in time, I was a very successful double entrepreneur. I'd started a business with $250 and grew it to $1 million and sold that. Then I started a PR agency where my very second client was Dancing with the Stars. So I seem to have had this, like, if I tune into Michelle vibration, things blow up. But the second I give myself any look in the mirror of another person, especially men, they only saw me as something that they wanted to demolish and destroy, because my will was so big and my spirit was so big. And people just didn't, from when I was a small child being abused to up until 2016, when I finally divorced my husband. Within 6 weeks of divorcing him, I would try to kill myself. And so I came out of that and was pissed off. If there was a God, why wouldn't he just let me finish this life? It's all I could think about. And as I was laying in the bed contemplating going to the gun range and getting a gun license and making sure I did it the correct way, all of a sudden my dog sitter's in the house, my house cleaner's in the house. I'm rolled up like a cocoon in my bedroom with like the Elvis vibe going on, 40 degrees, just eating pizza and disgusting and making myself vomit. So I just really just didn't intend to stay much longer. I was like, maybe 2 more weeks and I'll do it again. And because I didn't know how long it would take and all that kind of stuff, my TV comes on and I see the remote by the TV, and I was literally staring up at the ceiling, and I was like, you're not fucking real. If you were real, you would use me in a way that wouldn't look like pain and suffering. So I'm going to decide to end it myself because I'm going to show you you're not real. And my TV just pops on. And this white dude comes on the TV, and he says, when you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at change. And I don't know what it was about that phrase or that statement, or perhaps energetically, I was just like, I have nothing to lose. Let me listen to this guy. I would sit there and listen to him for 16 hours. I was so depressed, I peed on one side of my bed, took the covers off, and rolled over to the other and continued watching. The next day, I was like, okay, let's see if this guy has any books. So I literally don't remember what I was wearing, but I remember driving with pizza in my hand and no shoes on to Half Price Books. And when I walked in, they told me that the restrooms were not available.
Like, you're laughing. That's super sad. But they thought you were homeless.
They thought I was homeless.
You also still had a piece of pizza in your hand.
And I had crust. I was like...
To be honest, though, why wouldn't you drive? I mean, everybody should drive around with a piece of pizza in their hand all the time. It's
a really good way to live.
Another movement that you should start.
The pizza drive. And so he was like, I was like, sir, I just drove here in a BMW and I have a house. Like, I'm not homeless, And I just looked at him and I go, okay, I don't have to pee. And I was just like, no resistance whatsoever, no argument. You could have said, like, you can only pee on the floor. Okay. I would have peed on the floor. And he was like, who is it? And I go, some dude, like, Dr. Dwyer, and he was like, Dr. Wayne Dyer? I was like, Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he was like, yeah, there's a whole section. And so he walks over there and there's literally like 37 books. He wrote 42. And I just grabbed my little basket and I just start shoving them in there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let's see. And within 60 days from that moment, I would apply to an 18-month program at a university in Dallas, even wrote a dissertation to get in, Mindfulness Cognitive Therapy, because I went to the hospital and had an MRI on my brain. My brain is just so analytical. I'm always constantly evaluating everything for every single second, that for me, it was like, if I have a brain tumor, this would make a lot better sense. Unfortunately, they told me I had a very active brain, and that what was even more interesting, the neurologist was saying that the middle of my brain lights up, which is less than 2% of the population. So he said, you just need to figure yourself out. And because I told him, I go, I think I'm going crazy, and he was like, you just need to figure yourself out. So I go back to school and I go through this training program and I realize how the brain works. And then the other thing that really fucking got me, I'm the only Latina, I'm the only female under the age of like 50. And I'm the only one that's not a doctor. Mm-hmm. And they show we have teachers from all these different universities, like doing remote and stuff like that. And they show us in month 2 this chart. And they said, never teach your clients about meditation until month 6. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, maybe like therapy, you have to have like this mind map. And
that's crazy.
Right? So I raised my hand like, I'm really innocent.
Yeah.
And I raised my hand and I said, so it takes 6 months before you can introduce it because of the way that we talk to people and the way that we communicate with our clients, or like, why is that? And they all just kind of started laughing because they realized like I didn't have a PhD or I wasn't a psychologist and psychotherapist. And this one lady, just total Karen energy, she goes, they'll figure out how to fix everything and they won't need us. And I go, excuse me? They go, yeah, after 6 months, you get addicted to something. So if you're in therapy and you're not getting any results, they're going to start writing you scripts, and you're either addicted to the prescription or you're addicted to, in your mind, thinking that you're getting better, but you're just kept talking in a circle. And if you teach somebody meditation, everything changes.
Oh my. So you're like, bye. I'm going to teach you how to meditate and manifest.
Well, here's what really pissed me off. I was in therapy. And all the drugs that I used to commit suicide were given to me by therapists. And every time I went, I would tell them, like, it's not working. Give you more Adderall, more Xanax, more Ambien.
Oh, yeah.
So
insane.
It was insane. And so from that moment on, I started to understand that everything in this universe is a physical energy, and everything has an energetic value. This microphone, this stand, this room, your producer, this TV screen, the shirt I'm wearing. And so it's a numerical universe that is all contrapted with equations. And once you start to manipulate and understand the energy, you could be a vibrational match to changing your timelines. So it first started with like a parking spot and then getting people to call me. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to try to manifest something really big. And so I wrote a list of 19 things that I wanted to do. And like number 2 was a TEDx. Number 3 was meet Oprah and have a one-on-one interview with her. And the list went on and on. Well, because I was a vibrational match to let's just see, and I didn't have any fear, I had nothing to lose, I was still a TV media publicist at the time. I go to this TV station. This charity had asked me to help. I gave them a charity discount. It was like $5,000 instead of $10,000. I really didn't even care about working or money. I almost wanted to lose my home and become homeless. Like I kind of had a desire to just like let the streets have me or something. I was just in such a spiral. Even though I was meditating and I was trying to understand these things, I kind of wanted my life to fall apart, but it wouldn't. And people just kept hiring me and throwing money at me. And the times when I needed money, I couldn't find a penny. Mm-hmm. And so the universe was like, Michelle, you've turned something on and we're not going to turn it off. So this charity calls me and I was like, yeah, 5,000's fine. Like I'll get you 3 TV segments and I'll get you in a magazine. It's fine. And I go to the TV station and this older lady is sitting over to the side, and I thought she was the girls that were going on TV's grandmother or something. And I said to them, I was like, oh, hey, do you want something? Because at that ABC station, they had their own 7-Eleven and everything was free.
So cool.
So I go in there, grab everything for her. She's like, I'd like a tea and this and that, and I get her all of her little goodies. And I was like, here you go. She was like, well, you're the nicest person at this TV station. I said, oh, no, I'm the publicist with all those beautiful women in there. And she was like, oh. And then she goes, well, what do you do? And I was like, do I say publicist or do I say manifestation speaker? And something just goes, say manifestation speaker. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, Nana.
Hey,
right?
Yeah.
Hey, Nana. So I said, I'm a manifestation speaker. She goes, you got 15 minutes locked in? And if you're a speaker, you know what that means.
Yeah.
So I said, absolutely. And I gave her just like a performance. Reporters are walking past me. It's in the middle of the newsroom. I just stand up and I was like, the moment that you understand energy, and I just give my little energy, 15 minutes. And she goes, come down here, sit down next to me. And I said, yeah. She was like, you don't know who I am, do you? I said, I'm not trying to be rude, but I thought you were someone's relative.
No, I don't, but I also thought you're someone's Nana. Are you not?
I thought you just came with cookies.
Are you not someone's Nana? Because I love the Nana vibe.
Nana, right? She was Nana, Granny, whatever. And not Medea energy, like literally Nana energy, like honey, right? And she had this real sweet dress on and a little. So I said no, and she just laughed and she said, have you ever heard of TEDx? And I'm like, I just wrote that down 5 days ago. I said, yes, I have. She goes, the Dallas audition is happening next week. And I nodded my head because I saw that there was 3,000 people applying for 5 slots. Or for 6 slots, excuse me. And she goes, I said, yes, I do. And she goes, have you ever thought about being a TEDx speaker? And I said, actually, I just wrote that down in my manifestation journal. And I whipped out my little journal and I showed it to her. She goes, go ahead and cross that off. She goes, you're our first candidate. You don't even have to go through audition. I said, what? She goes, I'm the president of TEDx.
Always treat people like Nana.
In that moment, yes, always treat everybody like Nana. But in that moment, because I wasn't scared to step into my highest version, the universe said,
Here you go.
Jump, just jump. And then, you have to listen to the podcast to find out what happened when I met Oprah.
Yep.
But this started.
What episode is that?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I think
30?
it's 2021. Okay. There's over 200 episodes. So
Yeah, there is. We just hit your 200 miles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I get confused because I record, like you
Oh, I
do.
know,
You
yeah.
batch,
You're
you
just
do
like,
4
wait,
at a
what?
time.
Yeah.
So after that happened, I really just decided that I was going to walk away from public relations because it led me to a lot of dark corners, and it only made me hate everybody because I just saw all these celebrities for their vapid, reasons and probably judgmental in me because they had a desire to be famous and they should be famous. But in my mind, the way that they behaved was just like, no. So for me, it was just too much of a leap to say like, yes, I want to dedicate my life to helping you become rich and famous. I do not. And so in that moment, I started to say to myself, okay, well, what do you want your life to be about? And I said, well, I want to help people see that they are not out in a wilderness all by themselves, but that there is a creator energy. I call it God, source, universe, and it will understand your vibration. And from that moment on, I don't know, even 2017, I've manifested Kim Kardashian and Cindy Crawford. I now live in a ridiculously beautiful home that I still don't know how I live there. I have opportunities all the time. I've never made more financial money in my life. And
She has arrived.
I don't know. You know what, Katy?
We never arrive, right?
Right. So it's a moving target. But the most important thing is that I've never known this version of Michelle. And so I constantly find her being put up against old Michelle, who was very angry and judgmental and like always just disliked people for whatever reasons, And so I have to, it's a constant, well, it's more like,
Meditation helps you with that, though.
meditation, mindfulness practices. I really do what I preach,
You have to, yeah.
And
If you're real.
if you're real, because I've worked for people who on TV seem like this, oh, I love you, and just be positive.
After they're like, F you. And
After
you're
they're
just
like,
ugh.
you're too fat to be on this set right now, and you're this, or you're, and I was an anorexic.
People are
Yeah. And
crazy.
I can't even begin to tell you. But now I get to introduce people to a reality that was always there, but that they just weren't comprehending because our society is not brought up to be an independent thinker. From the schools, you're indoctrinated to pledge allegiance to something instead of to yourself, and to what you want. We're indoctrinated by not being told that we can be anything we want. I mean, if it's an education system, why don't we understand taxes and money and
my
banking
God, right?
and
It's the unlearning.
it's
that we have to do.
it really is. And you have to unfuck yourself over and over and over again energetically. So that way you are a vibrational match to the guides that are helping you and the angels that are around you. And depending on your life path number, you can really accentuate certain vibrations of yourself. And when you see somebody who's really successful in your mind, let's say an Olympic athlete or a principal who's won every award in their school district or whatever it is, or celebrity, they're 100% vibrational match to that desire.
Yeah.
They don't have a desire to be this and this and this and this and this and this, and they don't separate their energy. They concentrate on one specific place and they say, everything's going to go here. I'm going to have all these little other side things, but 90% of my vibration is going to go here. And the most interesting part is when you see people jump timelines. And when you see people start, like I had somebody just in my last live class, and she was a nurse She was a stepmother. She just got married, and she was a full-time graduate student. Like, she was getting her 3rd degree. And she ran a little lower vibration, all right? And she comes to me, and she had all these like vibrational ups and downs and not able to control her energy. So we did the 6 weeks to success. It really helped her. Then she goes into the live class. And the first day, everybody says what they want to manifest. And she was like, I don't want to have a fear of money. And I said, okay, let's just talk about it really quick. What's the biggest debt you have? And she said, I have a $20,000 medical bill, like medical school bill. And
medical school.
Yeah, like from nursing school. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to live in a vibrational universe where you see on your refrigerator the bill and it says PIF in red. So close your eyes all together, everybody in the group, and we're going to do the Maharishi effect, and we're going to put this vibration into her. We're all going to see her putting that on her refrigerator and paid in full, and we're going to see that letter coming in P, and we're going to see that letter in I, and we're going to see that letter F, and we're going to put a square around it.
Me. Did you get it paid?
So 4 days later, she manifested $21,000.
Shit.
Paid off everything.
PIF is paid in full, everyone. Thank you. Helping with acronyms all around the world.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. I understand the timeline jump now. It's hard to when I'm not in it all day. But okay, I'm going to ask my question a little bit, but what are the things you're working on right now that people can join?
Well, I have 3 digital courses that are out right now. So dismantling imposter syndrome. Fear is an MF liar.
Which is motherfucker.
And just can't put that on Instagram, you know. Might get shadow banned. And lucky girl syndrome.
Yep.
And those digital courses you can take no matter what part of the world you're listening to this amazing podcast in. Because there's so many people listening from around the world, you know, so you can just do it in your timeline and in your time and date. The next masterclass starts April 16th, and I really highly suggest that you check it out because A, you can pay it off over 4 months, but B, the master class is called Manifesting Masters Masterclass. You don't have to be a manifestation expert because the first week is metaphysical week. The second week we spend 7 days only on money, and the third is on losing that fear-based reality. My last masterclass, I had 2 people who wanted to be influencers. They were creeping up on TikTok, 10,000, creeping up on Instagram, 10,000. They're both almost at 1 million now.
So cool.
So when I say the universe doesn't make any mistakes, there's a reason that your guides guided you to listen to this episode right now, and to have you be connected to Katy in this way. And please, 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 every time you listen to this, I want you to just say to yourself, Katy, I hope you manifest everything you desire. And the reason that you want to do that is not only to support Katy's podcast, because obviously you do, because you're listening right now, but when you energetically give somebody all of the vibrations that they want, the universe is a motherfucking boomerang, okay? So the second you say, Katy, I want you to have everything you want. I want you to have all the money that you want. I want your show to be the level that you want it to be. I want you to have everything, Katy, everything. Take it. Have it, Katy. Have it, Katy. Have it. Like, legitimately feel that vibration like emanating from you over to Katy right now. And there'll be a day that you're walking up and the most perfect opportunity slaps you in the motherfucking face. That's Katy. That's Katy's angel going, now it's your turn, bitch. And the reason that you want to do this is because it really helps you understand that you want to give and not just ask. If you're talking to God, source, the universe, and you're like, oh, please pay my bills and please take care of the dog and I hate my kid's teacher and why do I have to wait in this line every fucking day? My life should not be waiting in this school line. Well, the universe can't hear that. All they hear is like, oh my gosh, she loves to complain. Let's give her more things to complain because they think that's what you want. And the second that you start vibrating in love, like, wow, there's some woman right now wishing she could sit in this carpool line and watch her baby come out of that fence and into her car and say, how's your day? It was okay. and she's at a job or in a situation or in a place that's not even a vibrational possibility for her.
Yeah.
And once you start to step into your own timeline and really understand that gratitude, the universe looks at you, and then the universe, you're saying to the universe, how may I serve? How may I serve? And the universe looks back at you and says, how may I serve? How may I serve?
Living in service. I like it. Also, I always pride myself on being a hype person. That was super hype. I appreciate you. Where can we find you? We're going to have to do more episodes.
Okay.
Where can we find you, Michelle J. Lamont?
Everything's Michelle J. Lamont. Everything's Michelle J. Lamont.
TikTok and IG and all the things.
I don't make it complicated.
Also, with Columbia, Cutter, and Cray Cray, we're bringing it to you hot on the track.
Listen.
But Michelle, I love your vibe. I love your energy. I love it all. Manifesting Miracles is my jam. I always listen to it. Perfect time when I'm going walking, because it's all about you, girl. 200 episodes, celebration, all the things. You can find Michelle J. Lamont at Not a Great Whisperer Podcast, katyray.com, all the things. Thanks for being here today. You are a amazing energy. Really like powerful, step into your fucking self energy. I like it. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to everybody who's tuning into this vibration today. There are so many more things that you have, so many new chapters. I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Remember Grandma Moses. Do you know Grandma Moses? So she painted her first painting at 76. Her painting hangs in the Louvre. So never, never, never say that this is the last time or the last thing you're going to do. Start new adventures every single day.
Yeah, girl, dropping it like it's hot. All right. Thank you for being here.
My honor.
Beautiful.